Hi everyone, this is Stella and welcome back to Stellar Music Theory. Today we will go over Chapter 5 of Grade 1 in the new ABRSM workbook series Discovering Music Theory. Chapter 5 is on Rhythm Part 3. In this chapter, you will learn about ties, dotted notes, and grouping dotted notes. Ties. A tie is a curved line that joins neighboring notes of the same pitch. Notes joined by a tie are played as one note lasting the length of the tied notes added together. For example, two crotchets tied together will sound like one minim, like this. Here we have two crotchets, and this curved line is the tie. And this set of tied notes will sound like a minim, because we have 1 plus 1 equals 2. Ties are useful when you want to join together notes across a bar line or across the middle beats of a bar in 4/4 time. In the first example here, there is a tie here, and this is the bar line. So you can see that the tie joined the two notes across the bar line. In the second example, you see the tie here. We are in 4/4 time. So if we split the bar into half, we will have 2 and 2. So this is the first half, and this is the second half. If we want to join the middle beats of the bar, we need to use a tie. Exercise 1. Write the total number of crotchet beats of each of these tied notes. Here, what we need to do is to simply add the note values of the tied notes together. Question A is done for you as an example. The first note is a crotchet, which is 1 beat. The second note is a quaver, which is 0.5 beat. So when we add them together, we have 1 plus 0.5 equals 1.5 beat, or 1.5 beat. Question B, we have a minim, which is 2 counts, and we have a crotchet, which is 1 count. So 2 plus 1 equals 3. Exercise 2. Add one note in each box to show the total value of the tied notes. This exercise is very similar to exercise 1, but instead of writing a number as an answer, we need to use a note that represents that number. Exercise A is done for you. We have a crotchet, which is 1 count plus another crotchet, which is another count. So 1 plus 1 equals 2. If we need to represent 2 with one note, it will be a minim. Question B, we have a minim, which is 2 counts, plus another minim, which is another 2 counts. 2 plus 2 equals 4. We can use a semi-brief to represent the 4 counts. Next, writing ties. Ties are placed above or below the notes they join, depending on where the notes are positioned on the staff. Notes below the middle line have ties below the note heads. Notes above the middle line have ties above the note heads. Well, basically, if you look at the box on the right here, you will notice that the tie is always on the side of the note head. Exercise 3. Join the boxed notes with ties and number the beats. So first, we have to join the boxed notes. Then we have to number the beats. Question A is an example. This is where the box is. So the first thing is to join the notes inside the box with a tie. Then you will number the beats. Question A is in 3/4 time. The top number 3 shows that there are 3 beats in every bar, and the bottom 4 shows crotchet as a beat. So altogether there are 3 crotchet beats in every bar. The first note is a crotchet, so that's beat 1. Second note also crotchet, beat 2. Third note crotchet, beat 3. Bar line. After the bar line, crotchet is beat 1. 2 quavers, beat 2. Crotchet is beat 3. Question B. First, we're going to find the box, which is here. Then we are going to add a tie on top of the notes. Remember to put the ties on the side of the notepad. So this is the tie. Next, we are going to number the beats. Question B is in 2/4 time, meaning there are 2 crotchet beats in every bar. Here we have 2 quavers, which make beat 1. Another 2 quavers, that's beat 2. Bar line. After the bar line, 2 quavers, beat 1. Another 2 quavers, beat 2. Bar line. And then we have a minim. Minim is worth 2 beats. So we will write 1, 2. Next, dotted notes. Instead of joining notes with a tie to make a longer note, it is sometimes possible to place a dot after a note. A dot adds on half the time value of the note. For example, we have a dotted minim here. So let's draw a dotted minim here. Dotted minim is just a minim with a dot. So the minim itself is worth 2 counts. And the dot that is added after the minim is worth half the value of the note it follows. So a half of 2 would be 1, and 1 would be a crotchet. So a dotted minim is the same as a minim plus a crotchet. So 2 plus 1 equals to 3 counts. Next, dotted crotchet. Okay, let me draw a line here. This is a dotted crotchet, which is just a crotchet with a dot. So the crotchet is worth 1 count. The dot at half the time value of the note it follows. So a half of 1 would be a half, or 0.5, which is a quaver. So a dotted crotchet is the same as a crotchet plus a quaver. So 1 plus 0.5 equals to 1.5, or 1.5 counts. Next, dotted quaver. Okay, let me first erase this. Dotted quaver is a quaver with a dot. The quaver itself is 0.5 count, and the dot adds half the value of a quaver, which is 0.25, a semi-quaver. So a dotted quaver is the same as a quaver plus a semi-quaver. So if I draw a circle here, separate into 4, the first part is worth 0.5. The second part is worth a quarter, or 0.25. So altogether we have 3 quarters, or 0.75, whichever is easier for you. Exercise 4. Rewrite these tied notes as a dotted note of the same duration. So here you're going to add the tied notes together, and you will use one note to represent the answer. Question A is done for you as an example. We have a crotchet, which is 1, plus a minim, which is 2. So altogether, we have 3 counts, and we can use a dotted minim to represent 3 counts. Next, question B. We have a quaver, which is 0.5 count, plus a crotchet, which is 1 count. So 1 plus 0.5 equals to 1.5. And we can use a dotted crotchet to represent, because the crotchet is 1, the dot is 0.5. Exercise 5. Add a dot to one note in each melody to make the bars add up to the correct number of beats. Here, what we need to do is to look through the melody from the beginning to the end, bar by bar. And you will notice that in each melody, there will be one bar where the notes do not add up to the correct number of beats. Let's go over question A together. We are in 4/4 time, meaning there are 4 crotchet beats in every bar. Here we have a minim, which is worth 2 beats. Crotchet is 1, another crotchet is 1, bar line. So we have 2 plus 1 plus 1 in this bar, which is 4. So this bar is correct. Next, after the bar line, we have a crotchet, which is 1. 2 quavers together make 1 beat, and a minim is worth 2 beats. So we have 1 plus 1 plus 2 equals 4. So this bar is also correct. This is the bar line. Next, we have a minim, which is worth 2 beats, plus a crotchet, which is 1 beat, bar line. In this bar, we have 2 plus 1 equals 3. We need 4 beats in a bar. So what we can do is to add a dot after the minim to make it into a 3, because 2 plus 1 equals 3. So we have 3 plus 1 beats, which is 4. In the last bar, we have a semi-brief. The semi-brief itself is worth 4 beats already. Exercise 6. Answer each musical sum with one note. So again, we're going to add the notes together and represent the answer with one note. Question A, we have a semiquaver, which is 0.25 count, or a quarter, plus a dotted quaver. A dotted quaver means a quaver plus the semiquaver, which is the same as 0.75 count or 3/4. So a quarter plus 3/4 equals 1. And we can use a crotchet to represent the answer. Question B, we have a minim, which is worth 2 counts, plus a dotted crotchet. A crotchet is 1, and the dot is 0.5. So a dotted crotchet is 1.5 count, plus a quaver. Quaver is 0.5. So altogether, we have 2 plus 1.5 plus 0.5 equals 4. And we can use a semi-brief to represent the answer. Exercise 7. Rewrite these notes in order from longest to shortest. So what we can do here is to first write out the values of each note. The first note is a dotted crotchet. Crotchet is 1, so a dotted crotchet is 1.5. A minim is 2. Crotchet is 1. Dotted minim is 2 plus 1 equals 3. And the quaver is 0.5. So now it's very easy to reorder them from the longest to the shortest. So the longest one would be dotted minim, followed by a minim, then a dotted crotchet, crotchet, and quaver. Smart tip. The dots for notes on lines should be placed in the space above the note, like this. So we do not put the dot under the line. We always have to put the dot above the line. Next, grouping dotted notes. We've learned that quavers and semiquavers can be beamed together so that they are grouped into beats. The same is true of dotted notes. You will often see a dotted quaver joined to a single semiquaver, like this. For the top one here, we have a dotted quaver followed by a semiquaver. If you split this in half, you will see that the first part is actually a dotted quaver, and the second part is a semiquaver. So a dotted quaver is a quaver, which is a half beat, plus the dot is a quarter. And the second part is actually a quarter. So together, they make one full circle. This one at the bottom just have the semiquaver first, followed by the dotted quaver. So the value is the same as the one above, which is 1 beat. Smart tip. In the next exercise, notes that are beamed together add up to 1 beat. Smart tip. In the next exercise, notes that are beamed together add up to 1 beat. Remember, a dot adds on half the time value of the note. Exercise 8. Add the time signature to each of these bars. Question A. Let's go over it together. We have this, which is 1, plus this, which is another 1, plus a crotchet, which is 1. So we have 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 3. If there are 3 beats in every bar, it's a 3/4 time. Exercise 9. Tick one box for each question to show which bar is grouped correctly. So if you remember when we talked about notes grouping in chapter 3, the first rule is to always group the notes into one full count. So then it makes it easy to read. Let's go over question A together. Question A is in common time or 4/4 time, which means there are 4 crotchet beats in every bar. If the time signature is a 4/4 time, we need to remember one more note grouping rule. The rule is that in 4/4 time, like this, we have beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, and beat 4. Beat 1 is the strongest beat, beat 2 is a weak beat, beat 3 is medium strong, which is stronger than a weak beat, but not as strong as the strong beat, which is beat 1. The fourth beat is a weak beat. So when we group the notes together, we can group beat 1 and 2 together because you can only join a strong beat to a weak beat. So you can also group beat 3 and 4 together like this because beat 3 is a medium beat which is stronger than beat 4. However, you cannot join beat 2 and 3 together like this because then you will have a weak beat followed by a stronger medium beat. Back to question A, we have a dotted quaver here. A dotted quaver is 3/4. In order to make 3/4 into a whole beat, we need another quarter, which is this semiquaver here. So this is a quarter. Together they make 1 beat. So they are supposed to be joined together. However, you see that this semiquaver is joined with these 2 quavers instead. So the grouping here is already incorrect. Let's take a look at the second bar. Again, we are in common time, so we have 4 crotchet beats in every bar. Basically, the notes and rhythm in every bar is the same. It's just the notes are not grouped in the same way. So here we have this, which is a dotted quaver together with a semiquaver. And we know that this together makes 1 beat. Then we have 2 quavers, which is 1 beat, another 2 quavers, which is 1 beat, and a crotchet, which is 1 beat. Of course, we have 4 beats in this bar, and this is correct because you can see that the notes are grouped according to their beat, and it's very easy to read. Let's take a look at the next bar. Again, 4 crotchet beats in every bar. Here, we start with this dotted quaver, which is 3/4. So again, we need a quarter to make it into a full beat. So this is where the quarter is, or the semiquaver. So we are supposed to group these 2 together into 1 beat. However, they are not grouped together, so this is already incorrect. Exercise 10. Add the 3 missing bar lines to each of these melodies. So in each melody, we need to add 3 bar lines. Question A is in 2/4 time, meaning there are 2 crotchet beats in every bar. So here we have a dotted crotchet beats, which is a crotchet plus a quaver. And this quaver together with this quaver make another crotchet. So this is your first crotchet, this is your second crotchet. You can put a bar line here. Next, we have these 2 notes, which makes 1 crotchet or 1 beat. And these 4 semiquavers also make a crotchet or 1 beat. So 1, 2, bar line. Next, we have this dotted quaver plus a semiquaver, which is 1 beat. 2 quavers is also 1 beat. So 1 plus 1 is 2, bar line. And finally, we have a crotchet, which is 1, plus another crotchet, which is another 1. So 1 plus 1 is 2. This is the end of Chapter 5. I hope you find my video useful. If you like my videos, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll be posting new videos regularly. Stay tuned and see you next time.